Brightest blessings, everyone. Psychic medium Elizabeth Grove, the Paranormal Priestess. Welcome to the Paranormal Priestess YouTube channel, and thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of my subscribers, and if you are new, perhaps you might subscribe. My name is Elizabeth. I am a medium, divine channeler, remote spirit extractor, white witch and divine alchemist, and I also happen to be a divine twin flame on the path to reunion. And I am excited to share with you guys today about ways in which I celebrate the season of the dead. So for those of you who are in the northern hemisphere, this video is for you. For those who are magical folk, for those who connect, with magic or spirituality, or you just want to add a little bit of magic, a little bit more of ritual and ceremony into your Halloween time, this video is for you. Now we have a lot of ways in which I'm going to share how I personally celebrate this season, and some of them come from history, from the old pagan ways. I might have tweaked in some things here and also added in a little bit of my own touches, but do what works for you. And this might be something that's newer for you, but I hope that whoever resonates with this, perhaps you can get something out of it. Now, a lot of people don't know, so I am a twin flame, and I do put up a lot of videos that are about the twin flame journey, but I really am, someone who connects with spirituality, magic, the supernatural, all of those things. I encompass all of those things. So the Paranormal Priestess YouTube channel, truthfully, is about all of that. So I know I talked about adding some more videos about magic and that kind of thing, and I guess it wasn't really the right time quite yet to get into it, but I'm just really drawn to doing it now, and I want to add in more content like that. So I'm not going to stop, giving videos and doing videos rather, about twin flames and the twin flame journey and the ascension. Of course not, it's a part of me, it's a part of my experience, but I just want to add in, some extra spices in there and have people get to know the other sides of me as well. So hopefully, you guys will come along on the ride. Yeah, I've been a witch for all of my life, really. I've been a magician all of my life. I'm really a magician's soul. I was born a witch, born a magician. I've always been connected with it. So it was like remembering myself again. And for you watching this video, more than likely being an advanced soul, I'm sure that somewhere you also connect with that ancient magic, whether it's Celtic, whether it's Egyptian. We have a lot of people who relate to Egypt, whether it's connecting with the shamans, the Native Americans, the medicine people. We have a lot of advanced souls here who have lived very colorful lifetimes. So a lot of this content may resonate with you, but we're going to get into it. So, because I know we have a lot here to cover, and I don't want to get too lengthy here with covering everything in detail, but these are just some ideas and some inspirations for this time of year in the Northern Hemisphere. Halloween time, Samhain, or Samhain as it's known, the Celtic Wheel of the Year, which Samhain really is winter's end, and it's the time when the veils are the thinnest. We can connect with the spirit world that much easier, and that's what the exciting part is about this time of year. So let's start out with certain times of the day and night. Well, actually, that aren't exactly day or night. We'll say in between times. We'll call it dusk and midnight. So the question may be, other than of course it being the season where the light has truly waned, the sunlight, and so we have more dark than there is the sunlight. Right? So we have that's able to help us to tap into our psychic senses and tap into the spirit realm that much easier. But we also have our in-between times. So dusk and midnight. Now, midnight to me is that true witching hour. Some may argue that it's 3 a.m. I don't see it as that. I've always really connected with the witching hour really being midnight, the stroke of midnight. And that's where we can connect during that time with our spiritual senses, really connect with those who are in spirit, who are around us. Really tap into some of the psychic impressions. Same thing with dusk, and dusk happens to be one of my favorite times, as well as midnight. What I love at dusk is doing rituals at dusk. That's for me. Midnight for me, I love to just be able to really light my candles, start rolling down for bed. Since I'm a night owl, midnight I'm pretty active most times, in the sense that I have my candles on and I'm tuning in and I'm speaking to the spirit world. I'm remaining open. I'm doing my prayers then. I'm laying down perhaps and I'm connecting that way, or I'm getting telepathic exchange, right? And for those of you who are twin flames, you understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the telepathic exchanges, right? But it's just it's an easy time to do it. At dusk, I love doing magical rituals because it brings those realms in closer. Like the fairy realm is so much closer at dusk, but so are, the other spirits. So it's a great time. What I do love doing at midnight, just want to add that in, is I like to ask before I go to sleep. This is for me because I go to sleep around that time. Do you have a message for me? Is there anything that I need to know? Can you please let me know? Or can you tell me in my dream space? And so that's something you might want to try. If you have a very particular question, something very specific, make sure you have it clear in your head, your intention as to what you want to ask. You might want to light your candles, ask your guides, ask a particular spirit guide or deity, family member, whoever you're connecting with at that time, or just your team in general. Ask them that question. Ask them to make it clear within your dream space what those answers are. Maybe you're just wanting to know that they're there, like a family member or someone that you've lost, or a pet even. I've connected with my cats and things in dreams a lot, but also my grandparents. Perhaps you have a question about your path. Maybe you want something confirmed. Now, for me, I've had my twin flame confirmed for me in the dream space when I asked. So I lit a particular candle for that. For me, it was a pink candle. And I wanted confirmation because back then there was no YouTube channels. There was no information. So I really had to go off my experience and off connecting with my team to understand what I was going through. So, that might be something that you might want to try for those of you who are maybe twin flames and questioning the connection or back and forth with it. But certainly a time to use. I really do love being able to use crystals for this time of year too, to be able to help. And there's lots of different divination tools and things that we can use to get more psychic insight, take advantage of that, and connect with the spirit world. So crystals, when I think of crystals during this time, for me, I think of the crystal ball for prophecy, right? For those who are on the pagan path or witches, for us, it's the new year, right? So we might want to look into the crystal ball and see what symbols come up, see what impressions we get as to what our path is meant to look like, how it's meant to unfold. Not to stay attached to exactly how it's going to unfold, but is there any type of confirmation or symbol or something that we can connect with that can give us a glimpse of the fact that we're on the right path, we're in alignment with our path. So I love using the crystal ball. I love amethyst. Amethyst is a great psychic crystal. Purple fluorite is very similar for being able to connect with the crown energy, psychic energy. Lapis lazuli, that's one that's from the Egyptians. Great third eye stone, temple of the stars. Great one to work with our psychic ability. The darker stones, just so to have you guys understand, the darker stones, when they're darker in nature, they're more for this time of Samhain or Halloween. So, We have obsidian, we have jet, we have, hematite, lapis lazuli, is one of those darker stones. It looks like the night sky. I actually really do love rainbow obsidian for scrying work. So some people may use black mirrors. I love that too. I love that the obsidian that has the rainbow in it has those swirls of the colors. They really help me to shift my consciousness when I gaze lightly into it. I love labradorite for this time of year, more so a winter stone, for its peacock colors and its luminescence. For scrying, I really think it's a great one. These are protection stones as well: amethyst, purple fluorite, labradorite, lapis lazuli, rainbow obsidian. And protection is something that is really important while the veils are so thin and we have the spirit realms that close, right? Because we have good spirits, we have not so good spirits, we have some of them that are tricksters, so to keep that in mind. Yes, this is a great one. I don't want to miss anything. Setting up an ancestral altar. Now, this is one of the things that I love to do. I've been doing this for a long time. A lot of magical practitioners do love to set up an altar of the dead. Some may set it up permanently. Others, it's just for this time of year. I remember setting one up on a piano years ago back in my house. For many of you, you just don't know. There's some things about me I don't think you know. I've been playing piano actually since I was 8 years old by ear, and the piano is something that's connected from my grandmother as well, because she played piano by ear. I used to play for her. I used to play for my grandfather, my family, and so it was a way that brought them joy when they were alive, and it's definitely was a way that I can bring them forward too, by playing the piano, but also setting up that altar for them. I'll get into more of the music in a moment, but you can set it up. It could be on a shelf. This is what I did this year because of the room, because I moved. So I just took some shelving, and there's some pictures up there of family, pets, some candles, tea lights, candles, some skulls up there. And it's just a way of remembering them. This is the time of remembrance. So it's a really beautiful way. And you can do this. I did this with the piano, is you can add in, if you have anything from, say, your grandmother, you have her jewelry, or you have something from your grandfather, or anyone who has passed that meant something to you, you have something that's personally connected with them, it's going to bring their spirit closer, or something that's relatable to them too, if it wasn't personally theirs. It's just a way of, again, just pulling their energies towards you. And I love being able to honor, the dead, who really aren't dead, so to speak. They're still living. They've only transitioned. So see how that works for you. Again, it has to feel right to you, and it doesn't have to be something that's so elaborate if you don't have the space or the means to do it. Music, just to talk about the music. Music is something that has always brought people together. It's always helped us to tap into our emotions, tap into different parts of ourselves that we might not have tapped into. And I love playing music for the ancestors. I've done it for them when they were alive. But even playing songs to remember your family or your loved ones by, it could be from their particular heritage. Perhaps they were Italian, or they're Latino, or they're Greek, or whatever the background is, whatever your traditions are, you can play that music, and it's just celebrating them. It's celebrating their lives, which is so important. This time of the dead, the season of the dead, is a celebration time. It really, really is. To me, it's my time of joy, to be honest with you. It just brings everyone together again. There's no time and space between us. So I love the music. I love being able to dance to songs that remind me of the old days and the memories. And I also love to play ancient music as well. I love to play Native American type of tribal stuff, Egyptian music, Celtic music I love. And it's connecting with my ancient ancestors. And it's bringing them forth. And I might grab some hand instruments, like I have a drum, I have whistles, I have rattles, I have tambourines. Trust me, when you are a magical person, you got a whole bunch of stuff. I don't even know how I moved this stuff a few times around, but you get a whole bunch of stuff, books included, statues, all that. But I have a bunch of instruments, and I like to play that in a ritual type of dance. It could be a circle dance or not, depending on how you want to do it. But music is just a great way to have ceremony. Okay. Let's talk a little bit more before we get into other things about the divination. Okay, there's a little bit more I want to talk about divination. So divination is really a big thing at this time. Things like pulling cards, automatic writing. We talked about the scrying. I love to scry actually in black mirrors and regular mirrors. And that's one of the first things that I use learned as far as occult practices, was scrying. I was really good at scrying, but I've always did it in a protective way. So just make sure that when you do open these doors up, because that's what you're doing essentially, you're opening yourself up, you're opening up, you want to make sure that you're protected. You want to make sure you're protected when you're doing it, that your home is protected. You always want to do this in a responsible way because, these are very real energies, and you want to make sure too that you're shutting yourself down. You're doing seances, anything like that. And they have to be willing to speak to you. It's not about forcing spirits to speak. They have to really want to step forward to communicate. But make sure that you are shutting everything down correctly. Don't forget that, and to balance and ground. But I love divination. At dusk, that dusk time, I like to pull a card during Halloween time, Samhain time, October time. And for me, I pull it from a Halloween deck. For you, it might be a tarot deck. It might be any other way that you want to do divination. I love doing it at dusk because I've talked about it. That's one of my favorite times. But I love being able to do the crystal ball. The mirrors are probably my favorite. And the automatic writing is something that I really learned a lot from as well. And that's being able to do channeled writing, write some things down. So that might be something that you might want to learn to do. And, it's going to be so much easier around this time. And it's a great way to connect with psychic insight, connect with your ancestors. The jack-o'-lantern, of course, the jack-o'-lantern is something well known for Halloween. The jack-o'-lantern, I've had a special tradition passed down from my family, which is really steeped in pagan tradition, with the jack-o'-lantern of bringing it around the home and scaring away or chasing away any malicious spirits and helping to guide those who might be lost or confused, don't know they're dead, stuck in their death state. Guide them to the light, guide them where they're meant to go. It's also a way my mother has taught me from her mom, from my grandmother, as blessing the home and bringing in light, bringing in good fortune with that light, right? Happiness, good fortune. So I really loved that. And later on, I ended up adding to it, making it a little bit more ceremonial for Halloween, for Samhain. And I would ring an ancestral bell. So I'd be it would actually be an old bell from the family. And take that with someone carrying the jack-o'-lantern, whoever wants to carry the bell, carry some incense that I made, put on the Midnight Syndicate music. You know that they are the definitive soundtrack of Halloween. You know that. And just go around and really just clear the home, bless the home, help spirits. It's really just such a ceremonious way, taking it past just merely carving the jack-o'-lantern. I don't know. I love it. I love doing that, and I've always done it, and that might be something that you would like to do. Different symbols that come across during this time, which is a magical time, is symbols like the pentagram, the ankh, the scarab. We're talking about magical symbols, ceremonial symbols, ancient sacred geometry. I know the pentagram has gotten a very bad rap, but it was a bad rep because it was, just Hollywood up, I would say, and the symbol also has gotten tainted over time. The ankh too, now that I think about it, the ankh has gotten some tainting with it also. But these symbols, like with the pentagram, for instance, is the earth symbol. It's earth, air, fire, water, and spirit on top, for those who are the benevolent practitioners, right? It's connecting with all our senses. It's connecting with north, south, west, east, and the elements, and how we connect, and how spirit, all of these elements, and how we are connected to an overall spiritual energy or Akashic energy. We have the symbol of eternal life, really forever, is really what I think of with the ankh. So it has a lot of different meanings, and I explained about the twin flame connection with feminine and masculine energy and sexual energy. But it's really connecting with the divine. It's allowing us to regenerate. It's allowing a new breath of life. So when the dead were given this, with the Egyptians, it was an initiation. It was bringing them into a brand new existence. There's no death, there's only transition. It was allowing them to breathe again, to have new breath of life, to be regenerated. Okay, and they were known to, put things that inside of the, with the dead, basically, and have them be able to have those things so that they could travel into the other world, right? Into the tombs. So, I love that. I love, all those different things. We have keys. Keys are, unlocking doors, unlocking different levels of consciousness, the keys to the different realms. I think of Hecate and her keys, the goddess Hecate, or the crossroads, the Greek goddess. We'll talk a little bit more, a couple of deities for this time of year. Hecate is certainly one of them. Antique keys in particular have a great meaning. If you have any keys that are connected to ancestors, I have one connected to my grandfather. That's even more special because it has that link there. The old keys certainly have a link, but the symbol of the key itself, different realms. And we have skulls, of course, symbol of the dead, ravens and crows and black cats in terms of animals. Black cat is half in, half out. We have the ravens that are able to see into the other world, and crows. The owls, we've talked about a lot of times, helps us to tap into psychic insight and our wisdom, see through illusions. We have the wolf energy we have talked about. And we have, of course, cauldrons and brooms, right? We think of the Halloween witch. The cauldron of transformation, where there is death, there is life, where there's darkness, there is light, right? From the heart of the darkness is born the light, as I always say. So let's just, briefly with the deities, I think of Cerridwen and her cauldron of transformation. She's a Welsh goddess. She helps us to be inspired. She's a goddess of poets. She helps us to connect with the other worlds. She's a goddess of the underworld. I love her for helping out with prophecy, helping me to transform, helping me to gain knowledge and inspiration for what I'm experiencing and to embrace change. Hecate or Hecate's from Egypt. I consider Hecate the Greek version of Hecate from Egypt, the key holder, the one who waits for you at the crossroads, and those crossroads, she's able to bring the crossroads and the realms together. She can clear out ghosts or malicious spirits and entities and protect you. She could help you to move forward in life. But she's great for this time of year to connect with the spirit world. Anubis, for those of you who connect with Egypt, I know I do, a lot of you advanced souls. He is a great one to work with this time of year for the spirit world, god of the underworld, helping to protect the spirits, see them home, help them when it comes to being weighed as far as, the soul and where they're going, where they're meant to go according to the life that they lived. He's a help in that process. He really does help in so many ways when it comes to, seeing that the malicious souls are brought to where they need to go. But he can connect you, and Bast is his counterpart, as I have channeled it. Bastet, the black cat goddess. And she's not only just of oils, for those of you who are familiar with her, not only of love and sensuality, those cat qualities, but the cat is always half in, half out. The cat also helps with the spirit world, helps to be a protector. She is a warrior, a protectress when it comes to ghosts and spirits. And I find that she also takes on some of the roles that Anubis has. So she has her own thing with joy and love and sensuality, but she also has that part of her that is very much about the spirit world. And according to the Egyptian calendar, her feast is October 31st. So there you go. Scents and herbs for this year. Okay, so we have apples, we have cinnamon brooms, right? They bring in prosperity, they bring in happiness, all the good fortune, right? Cinnamon, I love cinnamon. I love it for its protection as well. Very protective. But we're bringing in that joy, we're bringing in that prosperous warmth, warming energy. Apples connect us with the other world. Avalon, right? The Isle of Apples. Apples are known as the food of the dead. We can offer an apple to our ancestors, offer it to the dead, offer it even to a deity such as Hecate or Caradwen. We can offer an apple. I find that the apples connect more with Caradwen more than Hecate, because Caradwen has more that Avalon connection there. But certainly apples come into play when it comes to connecting with the spirit world. And they bring in a lovely energy, love in particular. Love in particular. We have cloves and nutmeg and pumpkin and those spices. Herbs that I love to connect with during this time. Dragon's blood. Love that kind of resonance. Very protective, very cleansing. I love mugwort, mullein, dandelion, wormwood, fumitory, and acacia. You might want to look up some of these folklores if you're interested. All of those that I just mentioned help with connecting with other realms. What people don't know about is dry lavender this time of year. Now, I have dry lavender in my vase. Dry lavender not only brings through peace and tranquility, but it helps us to see ghosts. Yes, there's a history there of us being able to see ghosts that much easier with lavender. You might want to give that a shot. Might be an additive to your ancestral altar or some sort of magical ritual that you may perform. Okay, you have a white candle. You can maybe take some of these herbs and maybe buy it in an oil form if you're not into making your own oils. Anoint a white candle and bring some lavender in and a picture of a loved one. Might be a great way of bringing their spirit through and connecting with them. Okay, another great way of connecting with them is the dumb supper. This is a traditional one. The dumb supper that pagans know of, they set a place for the dead, that they're able to eat with us again, right? We're connecting with them again, that they're there with us. You can even go as far as cooking their favorite meal. If you have a recipe, say like your grandmother's or an old aunt, you can cook that again. Connecting with food and music. Perfect together, right? Perfect together. And there's so many cultures that absolutely feel that way, right? that it's crucial to have the music and the food together, right? I come from Italian culture. It's part of my culture. So certainly this works. This works to have the food and music. Grandma and Grandpa be there 2 seconds. Literally. So you might want to cook them a meal, set a place for them. They would love that. 13 days of Halloween. Yeah, the last 13 days of October, I like to do something that I've learned. We're getting down to the end of this. I know we're at 30 minutes. Trying to fit in as much as I can and give you guys some cool ideas for this season. But the 13 days of Halloween, I like to take each day and honor different types of people, even pets who have crossed over. Say one day might be soldiers, armed forces that passed over. It doesn't have to be just in your family. It can be anyone who's been, who died or perished in war. Another day can be to honor those in your family who passed over, like grandma and grandpa and those types. Another day can be about historical figures who inspired you that passed over. Another day can be about, say, celebrities or, music, people in music who passed over. Another day can be pets. Another day can be recently deceased. You see where I'm going here. And I know we have, unfortunately, so many that perished this year because it was such a very hard year. To remember them and to send your prayers and your love. That's what the season is about. Again, it's a season of remembrance. So 13 different types of loved ones in spirit, to take that and connect with them and remember them. And you can get as elaborate with that as you'd like. And the last way here, rolling it down, this is just to remember to have fun as well, okay, to celebrate, having the parties and stuff is great. I love to have an annual scary movie night. I wonder if any of you guys do it. Let me know below. But an annual scary movie night where you're connecting with, say, a best friend or a little group of friends. I don't know how it's going to work this year with what has gone on, but you can have a couple of family members, however you want to do it. Having a scary movie night is a great way of just celebrating the season, scaring the crap out of each other, hiding behind a pillow, hitting your friend with a pillow because they don't know what's coming. You might know. This is happening. This has happened, I meant. I've done this before. My friend has never seen the first Conjuring, and I remember that scary movie night that year when I saw it and she didn't see it, and my God, I knew what was coming. I still got scared, didn't matter, but she was terrified. You're somewhere between being terrified and hysterically laughing, but it's so much fun. You guys can pick who picks a movie one year, someone else could pick a different movie another year. Who wants to chip in with snacks or make something, bring something, and it's just really good fun to just celebrate, and so that's been a tradition there. And if you have loved ones who passed over, who loved scary movies and love this time of year, you might want to light a candle and ask them to join you in your annual scary movie night, and I'm sure they would get a real kick out of you too. Or 3, or 4, or 5. How many are there? I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that it perhaps inspired you, gave you some ideas. How do you celebrate this time of year, the season of the dead? I would love to know. Let me know below in the comments. And you can connect with me on theparanormalpriestess.com. Remember, from the heart of the darkness is born the light. Love you guys. Happy Season of the Dead to you all who are celebrating at this time in this hemisphere. And I really, really hope that it is a good one for you, despite what's going on. So take good care, and I will see you guys next week. Take care.